welcome back to Dukascopy TV. I'm Natalie MacDonald and you're joining us here at the iFXEXPO Asia in coordination with FX Street and Forex Peace Army. Up next in the studio, I'm joined by CEO of CFH Group, Frahm. Christian, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now today you're joining us in Asia. It's got quite a few tick points at the moment, both a major technological and financial hub, home to 2 of the BRIC nations and also half of the world's population. Not only that, but really does continue to outpace Europe. Can you talk us through, in your mind, just how important the Asian market is and also how your company looks to differentiate yourself within this region?
Yeah, so I think Asia is already a majority or a large part of a lot of brokers' business here. It's not a new market as such. I think the regulatory framework is still a little bit immature, except for Japan. So I think there's a lot of things happening in Asia. The industry still needs to grow here. The regulators will come in and do a lot of changes. So from our perspective, it's about giving 2 things, transparency and control. So that's what we give to clients in other parts of the world. We're very much on the technology side, so really focus on giving the brokers what they need to live up to regulatory frameworks, proper risk management tools, really the tools they need to have in place to run a proper brokerage business. So I think we are still in early stage of the Asian rollout in terms of this industry, but I think you've already seen Japan being one of the biggest markets, or the biggest market. They've sort of cleaned up on the regulatory side, and they're all having proper risk management solutions and technology in place, and that's kind of the role we play.
In an industry then where contending solutions and tight spreads can often equate to market share, who would you say you fear? Who is your biggest competitor, as it were?
I mean, we don't really fear people as such. I think we try to work pretty well with other people. Of course, there's the people that compete slightly, but I think our model is a bit unique in the sense that we really look to the brokers and try to figure out what they need to compete. And our business is B2B, so our role is really to work with the brokers and on the pricing side, figure out what do their clients actually need. And I think it's very different from client to client what they need. So a guy that's trades $2 million doesn't care what the top of book is for $50,000, and vice versa, right? If you're trading small amounts, what you trade, what you show in big amounts doesn't really matter. So we give technology that allows the broker to customize the feeds for the different type of customers, and then of course access to the large banks in the end.
Looking then at trading platforms just for a moment, and Forex magnates in their quarterly report suggest that MT4 represents approximately 20% of the retail market. Now, brokers are always adding new, jazzy, exciting new trading platforms to the playing field, but what are insiders using? In your view, which FX platform is growing the most at present?
We think the most exciting one is Tradable. Tradable is coming out with 2 big names this quarter, Gain and Monix. So the biggest broker one of the biggest brokers in the US, one of the biggest players in Japan is launching it. The model is very similar to, if you think back on the mobile phone industries, people used to use their Nokia phones and whatever you had in your Nokia phone, whether that was the worm game or the calendar, whatever was in there was what you can get. Today, the mobile phone has turned into a very customizable experience. So you as a user go in and you take what's there from Apple day one, but apart from that, it's really down to downloading apps that suits what you're doing in your day-to-day life. We see the trader being the same. So a trader that is momentum driven or looking for stuff over numbers, he's going to download the apps as he needs for his trading. We don't think a trader is one size fits all, and that's really the tradable model we think is very powerful, and of course we've been supporting it from day one.
What challenges then are you still facing in terms of attracting that new clientele? Have you noticed a shift almost in the trader profile? And if so, then what are you doing in terms of both attaining and retaining those types of clients?
So our business has always been B2B. It's a very small industry. We need to make customers successful using our technology. But really, if you think about sort of the level down, which is the retail customers, we work very closely with the brokers we have and try to figure out what does it actually take to maintain those customers, what does it take to keep them sticky. And of course, it's about stability of your platform, it's about pricing of your platform, but in the end, it's also about the other things. So what can you give them in terms of new stuff? How much do you listen to it? How much are you able to deliver what they need? And that's, of course, our job. Help those brokers do that.
Of course, and lastly, almost in a hoping for the best but preparing for the worst type scenario, how do you look to handle client complaints? How do you look to rectify errors? Do you take a direct, client-facing stance, or perhaps a more neutral strategy?
So again, our business is B2B. The people we have, or the clients we have, they know what they're getting into in terms of the trading side. There can be problems now and then. But of course, we give technology or tools out to the brokers that allow them to go in very details in terms of logs and figure out what went wrong. And I think we, in the end, give transparency all the way through the value chains. This is where the bank executed it. This is where the client executed. This is the problem. So it's kind of our job to give tools to help the brokers to facilitate that.
Of course, Christian, thank you so much for coming in and joining us today. Thank you. Okay. Christian Frahm there, CEO of CFH Group. Don't go away, we've got plenty more industry leaders here to give you the exclusive insight at the iFXEXPO Asia. Goodbye for now.